You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, aspiring actors. With me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And every week, I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid, working, unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready? Welcome to another episode of the Unstoppable Actors podcast. It is so good to have you here. If you are returning to the podcast, thank you so much for regularly listening to it. It means the absolute world to me. And I'm over the moon to say we've got well over 12,000 downloads, and we've got listeners from all around the world, from Canada, America, Europe, Australia, the UK, obviously. Even as far as Asia. I would love to know where you are from. So please do take a selfie and post to, if you're on Instagram, post to your stories telling us where in the world you are listening to the Unstoppable Actors podcast from. Our Instagram handle is at Standby Method Acting Studio, and we will reshare it to help you raise your profile as well and your visibility in the industry. If you're brand new to the podcast, hello, I'm Louise. I've been coaching actors of all levels for the last 13 years. I've been taking them from unknown actors with blank CVs all the way through to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, stage plays, helping them get signed by top agents in the industry, and I can help you do the same. So I'm a coach that specialises in method acting, and method acting is all about understanding the inner motives of the character to develop genuine feeling in scenes so you live through the role rather than acting it and pretending and forcing and fake acting. Now, today we are going to be talking about all the ways you can find acting work. But before I share that with you, I have to ask you, are your acting skills up to scratch? Because it is no good applying for acting work if you simply do not know what to do with a character that is going to make you stand out at auditions. What I mean by that is I see actors playing characters the same way everyone else is. And unfortunately, that is not going to land you the role. So how do you do something different? You do your script analysis. You work on your relaxation every single day so that when you pick up a script, you are not in your head overthinking everything, but you are in your heart and in your imagination living through the role. What you also do is you practice your sense memory skills so that you can get into your imagination on demand and create on demand. Because in method acting, the question we are always asking is, how do I create truth when everything around me is fake? Because even when you're on the most spectacular set ever, it's still fake, isn't it? And let's say you've got a scene where you've got to wake up in the middle of the night and you're on stage or you're on a set doing TV or film. It's not the middle of the night. It's usually the middle of the day. And so your sense memory skills and your relaxation and all of the character preparation are the things that will help you believe it is the middle of the night. So are your skills up to scratch? If they're not, you need to get back into training. And if you are a brand new actor who's just getting started on this journey, you must get training. You cannot be applying for roles if you are rusty or have no experience, because raw talent still needs developing, it still needs nurturing. And one of the ways that you can do that is by applying for a place on our 10-week method acting module, which starts in April 2023 at the Sheffield studio. Now, you don't need to be from Sheffield to apply for it. We have unknown actors, new actors, jobbing actors travelling from all over England to come and train with us in the Sheffield studio. So how it works is there are 8 places available. You fill in an application form, which you can find this underneath this podcast. The link is below. Once you've completed that, you'll be sent a script. You just prepare the script however you feel is best. I'll send you some tips via email. I can't help you with the audition, but I'll send you some tips via email on how to do this. If you put them to use and shows your potential and your passion and your enthusiasm, in the audition, you are more than likely to land a place in the training. And then you will begin your training on April the 12th, which is a Wednesday. The training is there to help you develop your skills to a standard where you will convert more auditions into paying jobs, as well as feeling super motivated with your acting career and super confident. So all the links for the 10-week method acting modules are below this podcast. So now let's dive into how you can actually find acting work. And I've come up with 9 ways of you being able to do this. These are ways that I find acting work for myself. These are the ways that my acting students find acting work for themselves. Number 1, the obvious way to do this is to set up a casting profile, and there are plenty out there. It's not for me to tell you which are the best and which are the ones to avoid, because you have to go out there and try them yourself and get the experience yourself. So there are plenty to choose from. But if you do want some feedback on some of the casting sites and what other people's experiences of them are, then get yourself into some Facebook groups and get asking. You can join our Unstoppable Actors group on Facebook and ask people in there for their experiences. But remember, that is their experience. Really, the best way to learn is by setting up a casting profile yourself. Of course, if you're in the UK, if you're listening to this, Spotlight is the big casting site you need to get yourself onto, but there are some stipulations around that, which I'm not going to go into in this episode. I've got another episode coming out for you where we will talk specifically about Spotlight. But that is the first way. Get yourself set up on some casting profiles and regularly apply for acting jobs. Number 2, very obvious again, but follow casting directors on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm not sure about them being on Facebook and having like an open page on there. Usually you'll find casting directors on Twitter. Do just be mindful though that a lot of the castings you're going to find on Twitter are going to be the really unusual ones that they're struggling to cast. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't follow them. Still follow them, because you can keep your ear to the ground on what's going on in the industry and you can learn about the projects that are out there. The third way to get yourself some acting work is actually when you follow those casting directors and they are putting out those unusual castings on Twitter, you could actually research the project and you could find out whether other roles have been cast, whether casting is still open for the other characters that you might suit. So that's about you being proactive. The fourth way for you to find acting work is to, if you are a jobbing actor or you've been in the industry any amount of time, reach out to people you have worked with in the past. That could be directors, producers, writers, other actors, and ask them if they know of any castings that you would suit. I've done this and I've had people send me casting breakdowns and go, oh yeah, actually we're casting for this, you'd be suitable for this. Because what you've got to remember is you're not top of mind for people unless you're putting yourself out there and you're being visible. So that's always worked really well for me. And I'm pretty sure if you try it, it will work really well for you as well. The fifth way is you need to work towards getting an agent if you don't already have one. And if you do have one and you've been with them for a good length of time and you are not getting auditions, you need to either think about changing something in your marketing. Maybe your headshots need updating, maybe your showreel needs updating, maybe your website needs updating. If you've done all that and you are still not getting auditions, you need to consider changing agents. So that's the next thing to do. So you will need an agent at some point, and you will need one that is getting you out to auditions. Okay, the sixth way then, takes a little bit more work on your part, but actually it can be really fulfilling. And a lot of my students do this and they do find it fulfilling and very rewarding, but they also feel more in control of their career as well. And that is creating your own work. And this can take many different formats. So it could be putting on a show at a local theatre. That way you can earn money from the ticket sales. Some of them like to create their own short films and they collaborate with directors and producers and writers. And honestly, some of the work I've seen them produce is phenomenal. It's out of this world. And then, of course, they can get it into film festivals if they want to go on and do that. So creating your own work is is really one of the ways, like I've already said, to get in control of your acting career and to actually work. And, if you've been out of work for a while, you might want to consider doing this because it'll refresh your actor's CV. It'll give you a recent credit. The next way then, the 7th way, is to write to casting directors. Write to casting directors who cast the shows that you want to be in. Now, I'm not saying just because you write to them, you're automatically going to get an audition. It's very rare that happens, but what it's doing is it's putting you on their radar. But then you have to stay consistent with this as well. So make sure you are writing to casting directors. You can also write to directors as well. You could write to producers. You could write to anyone like theatre companies. You don't just have to write to casting directors. What you've got to do when you're trying to find acting work is you've got to think outside the box. So the 8th way then is to join the groups that are on socials for actors. So Facebook groups, I think Instagram groups are a thing, but I don't think there's many for actors out there. But definitely join the Facebook groups that are out there and follow those pages on Twitter that are really there to help unknown actors like yourself and emerging talent raise their profile. So when you follow them or join these groups, you will start to make friends with other actors in there, other directors, and when you start building relationships, it's easier for you to find out about castings because you've already got that relationship there. And like I've said in the previous point, you can write to them and you can ask them or you can send them a message. But also in a lot of the Facebook groups, castings are posted in them. Obviously, there's a mix of unpaid work. Now, if you're relatively new and you've just got started, you're going to want to do a little bit of unpaid work just to test your acting skills, just to get yourself off the starting blocks. If you've been acting longer than that and you would consider yourself a jobbing actor, obviously you want to be looking for those paid castings only. But Facebook groups and those Twitter pages are really useful for that. The 9th way is to follow independent filmmakers on socials. So follow them. You don't need to just be following the bigwig film companies. Independent filmmakers are usually very, very proactive. The ones that I know anyway are. And they've always got something in the pipeline. So follow them. Keep your ear to the ground with what they're doing. And then the 10th way, I actually said I had 9 ways for you to find acting work, but I've actually got 10 ways. So the 10th way is to follow independent theatre companies on socials as well. Follow them because, again, they've always got projects in the pipeline. So when you follow them, you're more likely to see their casting breakdowns, but also you're keeping an eye on what it is they're doing. So you've got 10 ways there to help yourself find acting work. It's just a matter of you being proactive and putting the effort into, one, make sure your skills are sharp so that when you're getting auditions, you can actually convert them into acting jobs, and 2, making sure you are actively seeking out acting work. And the way I do it is simply by using all of these points that I've shared with you, not all at the same time, obviously, I do them at various different times, but I make sure I've got a time each day to be doing these things, to be active with them. You've got to be a proactive participant in your acting career, not a passive one, because if you're passive and you wait for things to happen, they simply won't happen and you will go unnoticed and you will be off the radar. So I just want to remind you to wrap up this episode that applications are open for the 10-week method acting module in Sheffield beginning April 2023. You don't need to be from Sheffield to train with us, but you do need to fill in an application form and attend an audition on Sunday, the 26th of March. You can be of any level of experience. You can be brand new. In fact, the majority of our students who then go on to work professionally as actors did start off as brand new actors with no experience. You just need to show your passion, your enthusiasm, your work ethic, and you need to give the character development a good go with your audition. And we will take on those who have potential and who can show that. So as I've already said, the link is below this podcast episode for you to check out more about the 10-week method acting module and also to check out the application form and complete it. And I really hope you have found this episode useful. So what are you going to do first then? Which one out of these 10 steps that I've given you, which one are you going to do first? I have absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, aspiring actors. Now, if you did, I'd really love you to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave a review. And if you would like weekly injections of inspiration, you'd like mini method acting challenges to keep you making progress with your dreams, come and join the most supportive acting community online by clicking the link in the notes to help you become an unstoppable actor.